Hello guys, Robot1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, I have for you my ban list prediction video for whenever Konami choose to release the ban list, because honestly, Konami didn't give us an exact time frame. They just said a few months later, so we don't know exactly when it's actually coming out, but we can predict it sometime soon, because the last ban list was in February, and seeing as it was in February, the chances of it being released soon are likely. And yeah, if you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. But honestly, I'm hoping the ban list coming up is going to do a lot. I do have predictions that I think Konami will do just because of logical sense, because how Konami works is they tend to hit things that are doing well in the game. They tend to hit things that are sometimes new but don't actually hit the new cards. They hit things that are incorporated into the new decks. And honestly, with the list that I've come up with, I think it's very fair, and honestly could see really happening. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this video, because honestly this ban list prediction is kind of just something I've been racking my brain around, thinking what is the real culprits of the format to hit to kind of like balance out the game. And I think these cards are very good hits slash returns into the game as well. So without further ado, let's actually get into it and start talking about the cards. So starting off with ban cards, I have Artifact Scythe. This card is degenerate, this card is stupid, this card is going to the banned list. Like, honestly guys, this card is warping the format in a sense where every deck is playing DPE Dagda, just so you can go ahead and pop the Scythe so your opponent can't play on the turn. So honestly, Konami, if they don't hit this, they're going to be absolutely, well, idiotic, because if you don't ban a card that's literally saying, oh, your opponent can't play the game, then what's the point of banning cards like Protoss, or banning cards like, I don't know, Shockmaster, cards that literally say your opponent can't play the game? So yeah, Konami, they're gonna probably ban Scythe, because like honestly this card should have been banned last list, but Konami didn't do it, so this list they're probably going to do it. But that's the first card, obvious card to be banned. Next card is one that is a little more just of my personal opinion should be banned, but Konami might probably ban it because the deck is doing things and the deck does do waves, and that is Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew. Now, honestly, a lot of you guys are probably saying, no, Konami won't ban Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew. Why? Why would they do that? And you know who's probably saying that? The Prank Kids players. And in all honesty, I can see this card going banned for so many reasons. Prank Kids is just a purely one card combo deck that plays a ton of different engines, such as the Brave package, playing hand traps, playing just tons of cards outside of Prank Kids to go off. And seeing as this deck only needs one Prank Kids monster and then can just play with like 4 hand traps in hand, it kind of makes sense to put this deck back a down level, seeing as the deck is doing so well in events. The deck is pretty much just the best DPE Scythe deck at the current moment. It can set up a double Raigeki on turn 1 with like the whole Brave package, DPE, and what else it wants to have. And in all honesty, the deck's been topping YCSs, has won a YCS, and I could just honestly see it getting banned because of it. So yeah, Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew banned. Honestly, they hit it to 1 not too long ago. I can see it going to ban now, just seeing as Prank Kids is just so strong. And getting rid of this card pretty much just puts Prank Kids to how it was before. You need to somehow get 2 Prank Kids on the board and play the game from there. So it's not a dead deck, but it's just not going to be meta. It's going to be one of those fun tricked things that you have in the corner, just like it used to be, which I think would be very fair, seeing as playing 15 hand traps, a Brave package, and a few Prank Kids, I don't think that's fun. So yeah, Meow Meow Mew banned. Going on to the next ban card, and the only other card that I believe will be banned, Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. Let's be honest guys, Halki Firex ain't getting banned with its reprints in Ghosts from the Past, and honestly, this card is dumb. This card allows you to make Baroness for free. This card is another route to make Scythe Lock if they actually don't ban Scythe. This card is insane. This card can go ahead and summon monsters from the deck. This card can generate free tokens for a free Synchro Summon. This card can lead to searching any combo in the game. And honestly, seeing as there are a lot of decks out there that are abusing the Auroradon combo, namely Based and Sword Soul, I can see Auroradon getting banned just to weaken these decks, maybe take out Based in the process as well, and just make it so 60 card Cyber Lich is the only deck there that could actually utilize, you know, the Brave package in 60 card variants. And honestly, Auroradon is just a very dumb card, and just saying that, oh yeah, Hulk plus Dexport 001 equals, well, Baroness plus full combo, plus being able to put a token collector in the graveyard anyway, plus being able to do all of this and make full combo with a Baroness, it's absolutely insane, and in all honesty, I can see Auroradon getting banned because of it. So yeah, that's all I have for ban cards though. Honestly, I don't really think there's a lot really needing banned this format. Like, you could kind of justify maybe the Brave package needing a ban, maybe like Griffin Rider, something like those along those lines, but let's be honest, Konami ain't banning the Brave engine. It's way too new. They're not going to hit something that literally has just come out a few months ago. And yeah, we're going to wait 2 lists for that to get hit. Plus, the deck also allows a lot of creativity, which I think is fine as well. So yeah, those are the only ban cards though. Let's go ahead onto the limited cards. First card that I think is going to be limited is actually going to be Fright Fur Patchwork. And you guys are probably thinking, why Fright Fur Patchwork? Why would Konami hit this card? And for me, it's pretty obvious, but let's go ahead and explain it. So pretty much, Fright Fur Patchwork is a very, very strong card. And normally I wouldn't have added this to my list because honestly, I don't think Konami would ever hit this card just for the fact that it doesn't really do anything in anything but Fright Furs. But after watching the last YCS and seeing what actually won that tournament, I think this card will get limited, and there is a few reasons behind this. The deck that won that event was Despia, and because of Despia winning that event and having Fright Fur Patchwork in it, I think it's gonna get hit, honestly, because when a deck wins its first YCS after 2 to 3 weeks of being out, Konami are normally gonna look at that deck, see what the deck had in it, see how old cards are in it, and probably hit a card in there that is very old, gives the deck a lot of consistency and a lot of power, and just basically take it down a notch so the deck is a bit more fair. And honestly, looking at the deck list that was released from the YCS, the only card in there that I actually thought was somewhat hittable was actually Fright Fur Patchwork, because I've said for years that this card is insane. I've always had trust in this card being a very good card for the fact that just searching Polymerization and a monster is a 3+1, and having that ability is nuts. And seeing as Fright Fur Patchwork can even search itself by getting the Edge Imp Chains and put it in the grave, means that you can just get another Fright Fur Patchwork for the following turn. So I felt like this going to 1 makes sense just so you can't search more copies of it, and also it's just a free advantage card in the Despia deck. So honestly, it makes sense to know that Konami will hit this card, especially seeing as the deck won its first YCS 3 weeks after launch, and Despia being just an insane deck already. I feel like Konami will lock in on cards in their deck that are just old enough to hit, and Patchwork is probably one of the older ones that I could actually see hit. So yeah, Patchwork to 1, I think it does make a lot of sense. I could definitely see it happening, and yeah, I just think it's going to go to 1. Like, honestly, it won with Despia. Despia won their first YCS, and because of that, I can see Patchwork getting limited because of it. Like, we've seen it before, and it's definitely possible to happen again. But going on to the next card that I think is going to be limited is Elder Elixir Scarlet Sanguine. Now, let's be honest, Elderlich have been running wild for a very, very long time. We're now seeing different variants of the deck pop up, such as Cyber Lich, we're seeing Pure Elderlich, we're seeing Adventure Lich, we're seeing so many different variants of Elderlich, and a lot of Elderlich also tops the most recent YCSs and also have topped in other events as well, such as regionals and all of this stuff. And let's be honest, Konami won't be making any more money off this archetype. Like, Maximum Gold is fully released, they're not really making any more of it. Like, Elderlich is seeing a lot of play, the deck is doing really, really well, and seeing as the deck is now, what, 2 years old, something like that. I think it was released in like either early 2021 or like early 2020, something like that. Like, it was out during the start of COVID pretty much, and with this card being here and being just such a strong card in Elderlich for the fact that it just summons a Golden Lord from the deck, I could honestly see Konami just limiting it now. Like, it's generated its revenue, the deck is doing really, really well and is still really, really strong. It's allowing decks like Cyber Lich, Adventure Lich, and all these other different Elderlich variants to still be played, and honestly, Scarlet Sanguine does seem like the best hit to hit out of all of the cards in Elderlich. Hitting Conquistador doesn't really do anything. Hitting Golden Lord himself, putting him to 1, that's fine. Like, they can just still summon out 1, and Cyber Lich only plays 1 of it anyway. I could honestly see this card getting hit to 1, and honestly, I think it's lived its time, and it's just one of those decks that probably does need to take a bit of an L, just so the cards in the format can actually, you know, do things and be a bit more creative. So yeah, Konami, I could see them hitting it. They might have had enough of it and their revenue with it is gone, so let's be honest, if they're not going to reprint it anymore, and people know that it's doing really, really well, and Konami know it's going to do really, really well, they're going to hit it to allow other decks to come into the game, especially seeing as we've got new deck building sets and all this other stuff coming out too, so it makes sense. But yeah, those are all the limited cards. I honestly don't think I can see anything else being limited this format. Like, everything in the format is kind of fine right now. I don't really see anything else going to 1 or coming back to 1, because I think the ban list is in a good situation where, like, there's not really anything that needs to come back, and I feel like pretty much everything here is fine right now. Like, honestly, the cards that I've said banned, I believe should be banned, and these two limited cards, I believe should be limited. But let's go ahead and go on to the cards that I think are going to be semi-limited now, just to, you know, go on to semi-limits, the most pointless section of the ban list. But yeah, so let's go into it. So first card that I think is going to be semi-limited is actually going to be Super Polymerization. And yeah, this was one that's kind of like a bit of a gamble for me. I do think Konami could hit this card, and there are reasons behind it, but also it's not super likely to happen. But I'm going to go into my reasoning to why I think it may be semi-limited. So the reason I think Super Polymerization may be semi-limited is because, well, Super Polymerization literally is the kill card against Despia. And seeing as Konami just released an entire structure deck revolving around fusions, I could honestly see them limiting or semi-limiting Super Polymerization just to allow the deck to be playable. And it's not like it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a really strong fusion deck actually get this card banned or limited. First deck that we ever saw this happen with, well, one of the first, was Shadow. And seeing as Despia builds are actually playing this card up free again and just abusing it to all heck and using it to OTK and just using it in abuse, and also it just really hurts the structure deck in general in the mirror match, I could theoretically see this card going to 2. Honestly, because this card is very, very strong. The card can wipe out an entire board of dark monsters. The card can help you OTK very strongly in Despia. And in all honesty, when you release a structure deck and you want people to buy said structure deck, then yeah, people have bought it already because the branded engine is absolutely insane, but when you want that deck to be played, you're gonna hit things that really do hurt the deck. So I could honestly see Super Polymerization coming off the list, or coming on the list again, just so, you know, branded can have an easier chance at playing the game, because if everybody's playing 3 Super Poly and a Starving Venom in this extra deck, then let's be honest, your deck's not gonna really do anything. So yeah, I could see this happening, just kind of weaken it and give Despia a bit more of a chance, because even though, like, 1 did win the most recent YCS, I'm pretty sure we could see it still going to 2. It's just a gamble bet. I don't know. It might not happen. It might happen, but it wouldn't be the first time a Fusion deck has done it, and I could definitely see it happening again. But going on to the next card that I think is going to be put to 1, so going from actually 1 to 2, is going to be Astrograph Sorcerer. And honestly, Pendulum are garbage. I will say this until Electromite comes back. Pendulum are garbage. And I love Pendulum. I love the mechanic. I love the original mechanic, especially because I used to play it. But let's be honest, Pendulum aren't good. And what did Pendulum do with Astrograph at 1? Nothing. What will Pendulum do with Astrograph at 2? Still nothing. Even though they're getting that new Link 2 that can search a Pendulum, guess what? They still have to Pendulum summon to be able to use their effects. The card's not great, the card isn't needed, and in all honesty, I don't think it would make the deck any better being at 2. So yeah, Astrograph can come to 2. Honestly, doing 1, nothing happened. Going back to 2, it still does nothing. Hell, we've got 3 Skull Crobat Joker now, and I was saying for how long the deck would do nothing if you gave us back Skull Crobat Joker. It's still gonna do nothing. Like, honestly, the deck is just not good enough, and Astrograph can come back very easily because of it. So yeah, Astrograph to 2. Going on, the other card that I think should be semi-limited, going from 1 to semi-limited, is actually Trickstar Light Stage. And this is pretty much just me looking at a card and being like, Trickstar do nothing. Trickstar do literally nothing. And because of that, I could logically see Light Stage coming back. What's the card overall? The card is basically a card that can target a set card, stop you from using it, and then force you to use it during the end phase or it's going to grave. Cool, that's good. Yes, it can search a Trickstar monster, but looking at the entirety of the Trickstar deck, Trickstar do nothing. Sure, you can reincarnation droll them, but it's not good enough because the deck has so many weak points now. Like, honestly, Trickstar aren't that great. They're a cool deck, sure, that can do some fun things, but they're just not good enough. And honestly, I don't think Light Stage needs to be at 1 anymore. I think the deck can come to 2, and I feel like Light Stage at 2 would be fine. So yeah, that's just me. And then finally going on to unbanned cards that are coming off the list completely. And this is going to be first, a Hero Lives. Yeah, I don't see a need for Hero Lives to be at 2 or even 1, in all honesty, because yes, heroes are strong. Yes, Dark Claw can come out very easily, but let's be honest, in the formats that we're currently going into, heroes aren't the best pick. If Super Poly doesn't get hit, you can just Super Poly away the board. If you go up against any deck that can break a board with like a Raigeki or has back row removal or is just a back row deck in general, heroes do nothing. Like, I love heroes, and I can play heroes very well and still play them at a competitive level, but in general, a third Hero Lives ain't going to make heroes any better than they already are, because they still lose to 1 Raigeki, they still lose to evenly matched, they still lose to like 2 negates. Like, honestly, a third Hero Lives is not going to hurt, and I could honestly see this card coming back to 3. Like, putting out 2 didn't really help the deck too much, and seeing as the semi-limited section is also the testing ground to see if anything would be too busted to come back, yeah, Hero Lives can come back. I don't see any issue with that whatsoever. So yeah, Hero Lives to 3 can definitely come back. Don't feel like it would hurt the game it too much. And for those people who do think it would, like, yeah, I can summon a Stratos from deck. I can search a warrior. I can normal the warrior. I can make a soul day. You're playing more bricks in that case, dude. It's fine. But yeah, Hero Lives to 3, and also you're paying half your life points just to get ashed. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. But yeah, and then the last card that I think will come back to 3 is actually going to be Solomon Great Circle. As I said, it's the same as Hero Lives. Solomon Great did nothing when it came back to 2. They won't do a lot when it comes back to 3. The format we're currently in is just, Solomon Great isn't good. Like, yeah, they're fun, and they can play at local levels and stuff along those lines, but let's be honest, you go up against Flunderies, you get D-shifted. You play against PK, you get hit with the DPE, you get hit with the Utopic Future Draco, you get hit with the Fogblade. Like, you go up against any deck this format, they're not gonna have a very huge chance of doing well. So yeah, I could see Circle coming back to 3. It's definitely plausible, and I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, like, that's the only other card on the testing zone that I actually think could come back. I don't see Scapegoat coming back. I don't think Nadia's Servant will go back to 3. Mali's definitely staying up too. Like, Konami just have, like, Mali's home is the semi-limited section. Mali is the reason the semi-limited section exists. But yeah, guys, that's actually all I have to say though. Like, that's my entire ban list prediction. I don't really think there's anything else in the format that needs to be done. Like, Stipe needs to go, that's for sure. Auroradon needs to go, that's for sure. Scarlet Sanguine, Eldritch, they've had enough. The cards that can come back, like Astrograph, Trickstar, Hero Lives, Solomon Great Circle, like, all these cards I think would be fine coming back. Patchwork, the deck won a YCS, I could just see it happening for the fact that it did, and Konami will look at cards to hit, and they could probably hit that card, because being able to search it, off the ability to search a card that can search it, is just absolutely insane. And Super Poly, I know it's a wild gamble, but it wouldn't be the first time a Fusion deck had gotten this card banned. So yeah, could definitely see that happening as well. But guys, that is just my thoughts and opinions. What is your personal thoughts and opinions? Do you think there's cards that should have been added onto this list? Do you think I should have added something from the DPE package? Do you think I should have added Vertic? Do you think I should have added Brave Engine stuff? Like, what is your personal thoughts and your ban list predictions coming up for this current ban list? And what's your thoughts? Like, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. This is just my thoughts in general, and I hope you did enjoy, guys. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and Konami, just make sure you ban Scythe this time. That's all I'm asking. Later all.